We are back. Peanut Gallery. What is your fantasy booking for the road to WrestleMania?
Okay, great. So I have a number. So what I divided it up into 2 nights. So night 1 matches and night 2 matches. I didn't put a lot of notes into this, but here's what I'm really predicating a lot of this on. The first thing is that this is going to be the first event in a year, over a year, where fans are allowed in. So I think they're going to do a lot of these really good. They're going to be building up some really good quality matches. So a lot of my matches also have already I've already sown those seeds that we're kind of looking at. So my first, I don't have them in match order, but the first idea I had for night 1 was Shelton Benjamin, Cedric Alexander versus Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. The reason I chose this match is because the New Day is still very popular. They're getting a huge pop out of that crowd. And so I think that this rivalry is just going to continue in that direction. And it just seems like it's sowing the seeds for WrestleMania because Shelton Benjamin, Cedric Alexander, they're white hot right now. I mean, they're just getting better and better and better every time.
Right.
And Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, of course, always popular. So that's one of my matches for night number 1. The other match I have is Big E is going to be in a 5-man, ladder match for the Intercontinental Champion. The reason I have this one is because...
You have Cesaro twice, by the way.
Oh, well, I had Big E, Cesaro, Aleister Black, King Corbin, and I had
Cesaro.
Else, but anyways, the point being is that, you have Aleister Black returning soon. You got King Corbin
winning matches right now.
Winning matches right
and Cesaro doing the same.
Cesaro's winning matches. Apollo Crews is winning matches. Big E, of course, is really popular right now. Mm-hmm. So I think that all of them at some point in time are just kind of destined for that collision course. And I think that WrestleMania usually features a big ladder match. I think this would be the perfect big ladder match to have. They always have those. They have at least one of those multi-man matches or multi-women's matches.
Right.
And to me, that just seems like the most natural place for it.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. The other one that I have is Mustafa Ali versus MVP.
Now that one was interesting to me. Why 2 heel leaders of factions?
Well, again,
they've had their problems.
Again, they've had their problems in the past. I think it's going to boil over. I think that this match will be really good for Mustafa Ali should they book him to win.
Right.
MVP is a great veteran, and I think that Mustafa Ali needs it because Retribution needs it.
Right.
Retribution needs that big win. So I think that a Mustafa Ali versus MVP match would be appropriate for WrestleMania because that gives them time to kind of build up that quality. And Mustafa Ali's becoming more and more frustrated with the losses. MVP is just more and more confident with the wins. So I think that a collision course between the 2 leaders is just an inevitability.
Okay.
Need I say more about this? Lacey Evans versus Charlotte
Flair.
Right.
With Ric Flair's stuff, yeah.
I think that this is going to last 2 WrestleMania because it's going to give Lacey Evans a great boost. And right. Charlotte Flair, what more does she need to do? I mean, what does she need to prove at this point?
Right. Exactly.
So I think a great place for Charlotte, a legend like Charlotte, would be in these high-profile, non-title matches.
Right.
I've seen enough Charlotte Flair title matches. I don't need to see any
You
more.
won't like my fucking card then.
The next match I had here was Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks for the SmackDown Women's Champion. I think Becky Lynch is going to come back at the Rumble and win it.
The same one, but I think my result's different.
And I think that Sasha Banks has pretty much run over everyone in this division. I think Becky Lynch would be a great person to put in there. Also, I do think that Becky Lynch is going to be moving into the SmackDown division just because
they need it more than Raw.
Well, also because the father of her child is on the same roster.
Right.
So that just makes sense to me to move, have Becky Lynch come back, have her win the Rumble. That's a great excuse for her to switch brands at that point. Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. I've seen what Sami Zayn is doing, and I'm almost certain that Kevin Owens is going to be on a collision course with Sami Zayn at some point. The reason I put this match in here, I know that we've seen this before, but Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens matches have always been good.
Right.
And
it's also been a really long time since we've seen one.
And, with Sami Zayn doing his chicken shit heel, I mean, this just seems like the antithesis to what Kevin Owens believes in.
Right.
You know what I mean? And again, it's going to be a great match, so the crowd is going to be in on it. Bobby Lashley, Brock Lesnar, it's one of those dream matches.
And obviously Lashley has expressed interest in doing
Yes.
it. They're two big guys that we just haven't seen.
Right, and so if Brock Lesnar decides to go through with it, I think it would just be a great match. And Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar is out of the title picture for this, so that's great.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
For the main events, I have Drew McIntyre versus Jinder Mahal.
What is with your boner with Jinder Mahal? Honestly,
Well, I think that this rivalry is actually going to start here with the event in with their Superstar Showcase or whatever the case is.
the Superstar Spectacle, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the reason I have Jinder Mahal possibly to win this match is because WWE is going to India very soon. They're going to start this NXT India brand, and they might want a little more publicity.
Maybe.
But anyways,
That might have
I
hurt.
also think that this is a match that we've waited a long time for because that rivalry was starting.
Right.
And then Jinder got injured again.
Right.
So I think it's just appropriate to have that as the main event for it. And Drew McIntyre has gone through everybody else. So I mean, who hasn't he gone through in such a high profile match?
Right.
I just think naturally we just go to Jinder Mahal.
Right.
So that's what I have for night 1. Moving forward to night 2, Lana versus Nia Jax. Need I say more?
Right.
This is a rival. This is what we have wanted to see, and I think that ending it at WrestleMania would be so appropriate.
Right. No, definitely. No, I understand that.
Yeah. So moving on, we have Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart versus Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan. Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan have established themselves pretty much as one of the top heel women's tag teams in...
Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan?
Yeah, the Riott Squad.
They're heels?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm pretty sure that they're establishing self that way.
Double check on that because I'm confused.
Okay. And
I'm not saying that it's a bad match.
Right.
It's gonna be a good match, but I almost went cross-eyed there. I'm pretty sure they're still like pseudo baby faces.
They're not really though. If you've seen them on SmackDown in previous weeks, they're kind of going that bully route again.
Oh yeah, maybe
Yeah.
because with what's her name, Billie Kay.
Yep. And so that's kind of been going on. I think that at some point in time, Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan might win the women's tag team champions.
Oh, eventually they will.
Away from Asuka
And Charlotte.
Especially because Asuka and Charlotte are both going to have kind of enemies at that point, so they might get screwed.
Right.
Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart. I know that I said keep NXT people to a minimum, but I think that they're going to be the winners of.
Oh, I have a couple of NXT people going in my show. It's inevitability.
Right. And I think that they're going to win the Women's Dusty Road Tag Team Classic. And I just think having them be in the match at WrestleMania for the Women's Tag Team Champions, I think that they're going to win that match.
Is it Ember Moon and Shotzi?
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
I think they're going to have that win because I think that they're going to try and get the Women's Tag Team Champions over to NXT as well and kind of do it between all three brands. Just kind of confirm that whole deal because they've
only had like a handful of matches for this belt, and it's like, come on, you guys actually have like an established women's division tag team.
And that's kind of my thought in this is to get the champions over to, and it would look really good for the women's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic to have that match at WrestleMania. I just think it'd be appropriate to do so. All right, the next match I have here is Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler versus Dominic Mysterio and Murphy. And I think that they're going to continue to kind of build up that tag team.
Yeah, where the fuck has been Murphy the last couple of freaking weeks? See, I have not seen him on television in a while.
You've seen Dominic a little bit, but not
he was in a match with King Corbin last week, and he lost.
I think that they're going to kind of establish that team though, because a lot of people are interested in that team being established,
right?
Especially under the tutelage of someone like Rey Mysterio. But I don't think it's to be Dominic and Rey Mysterio. I think it's to be Dominic and Murphy, just because of that whole.
A younger person, and Rey Mysterio might be kind of phasing himself into maybe more of a managerial role.
Right, and so that's kind of why I had that one. Not a lot of thought going into it, but
it's there.
I think that it's there. Seth Rollins versus Sheamus.
This one is freaking weird to me.
Okay, so remember who eliminated Seth Rollins at Survivor Series?
Oh, that's true. Yeah. No. Okay.
And I think it's going to be a good interpromotional match as well. and it's going to leave Seth Rollins and Sheamus out of the title picture, but at the same time putting them in a match. And I think it'd be I think it'd be more of like a retribution sort of thing almost.
Okay, like Seth Rollins comes back then, and
right, it might be one of those cases where Sheamus is in the Rumble and Seth Rollins eliminates, or like pulls him out of the match, and eliminates him, or whatever the case may be. They always have one of those matches. You know what I mean by that?
Right, absolutely.
Where it's like, oh, this person isn't even involved, but now he's eliminated.
Right,
sort of thing. That tends to be a WrestleMania or at least a Royal Rumble sort of thing.
Right.
So I thought that was interesting. Alexa Bliss versus Asuka for the Raw Women's Tag Team, for the Raw Women's Champion.
Yep.
I just think that her being the hottest
face right now, right. And then Alexa Bliss now having like a the Fiend persona along with it, which I think really needed to happen.
Yes, it did.
No, I mean, I get it. I thought about it, but I have a different match.
The Miz versus John Morrison for the Money in the Bank contract.
I like that one a lot.
That one, the Miz and John...
Because they've been fighting about it.
They've been fighting about it for a long time. I think it's just going to culminate at Money in the Bank. I don't know
WrestleMania, you mean?
At WrestleMania. I don't know who's going to win the match, but I know the person that is going to win the match is going to switch brands.
Okay.
Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton. I just see that coming back. I don't know what persona Bray Wyatt's going to be in.
Okay.
But they're kind of building up for that rematch at I think it's going to happen at WrestleMania because Bray Wyatt's known for those slow builds.
Right.
Randy Orton, of course, is I almost think that he's kind of like on that trajectory towards retirement anyway. So I don't know how many more.
That's why he's not in my WrestleMania. I have literally no match for him.
Right. Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan for the Universal Champion. I think that Daniel Bryan is going to win.
Well, obviously, right here you said I don't know who the winner is, but then you said The Miz is cashing in.
Right, The Miz or John Morrison could cash in. I think at the end of the day, if
you think a WrestleMania, you think a cash in is going to end WrestleMania like it did with Rollins?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
And what I think is going to happen is the reason that I think there's going to be a cash in is because they're going to try and do what they did again. It's going to not be a triple threat. But it's kind of like that Rollins thing where Rollins pins the weaker guy so that the stronger guy still looks good.
Right.
So in this case, either The Miz or John Morrison would cash in again and then pin Daniel Bryan.
I see.
Start that program. Roman Reigns still looks good because he wasn't pinned.
Right. And then he will do that one down the line.
That means that either The Miz or John Morrison, whoever wins that, is going to cash in and switch brands, which splits the team, which is fine.
Right.
So that is my fantasy WrestleMania booking. Let me know what your thoughts are. When we come back, we're going to do Tiger Heights Road to WrestleMania.
Yes.